Welcome to Finding Certainty with your host and U.S. Army veteran, Patrick Laing. Over the next hour, you'll learn from Patrick and his expert guests how to attract more certainty into your business and your life. Now, here is your host, Patrick Laing.
Welcome back to Finding Certainty, everyone. We appreciate you taking a little bit of your time this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are, to join me and my guest, Mr. Martin Hess. Martin is the president of American Club Association, or the ACA Business Club. And Martin, I appreciate you being here with us. Thanks for taking your time as well. I know how busy you are.
Well, thank you, Patrick. It's great to be here. I'm excited to connect with you and all your other people too. You have a great show. So it's a privilege to be here.
We're excited to hear your story and get to know you a little bit. What you guys are doing with ACA is very exciting. So, our show,
an adventure. It's an adventure for sure.
Definitely an adventure. I know you're traveling the country and setting up new sites and so forth. So excited to hear that. And I know you just opened a new location, right? So congratulations, new one in
last night. Matter of fact, last night. So if I lost my voice a little bit from talking too much, bear with me here. We had a couple hundred people show up for our grand opening. It was a good party.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I know you're always going 100 miles an hour, so thanks for taking the time to stop and visit with us for a few minutes. But
I'm looking forward to it.
So I always start out our show with just sharing a couple of reasons why I've invited this specific guest to join us. Then we get in a little bit of your backstory and talk about what ACA does and so forth. But
sure, yeah.
The biggest reason I wanted to have you join us is, our show is all about really two main pillars. Number one is the fact that business owners have got to evolve. They have to consider new relationships, new technologies, new approaches. They have to be willing to change. And secondly, we need to work together to get there. Okay, there's a lot of division in the country. There's a lot of differences of opinion, and yet we have so much in common. Right? If we focus on our commonalities, and we all want our businesses to be successful, we want nonprofits to thrive, we want our kids to be safe at school, so forth and so on. And so, first reason I wanted to have Martin on with us today is that he and his organization embody this concept of working together and thinking outside the box, being willing to evolve and develop. So that's the first reason you're here, Martin.
Oh, thank you. Yep, you're absolutely right. That's all about working with others.
Yep, absolutely. And ACA embodies that as much or as better as anyone I know. The second reason, though, is you have been a really great example to me of someone who really preaches, practices what they preach. You talk a lot about the value of relationships and of giving more than you're expecting. If you pay it forward, if you look out for those around you and you serve your associates and your network and your colleague. And you are such a great example of that. Every time we meet, you introduce me to someone else, you make a new introduction. And I've never seen you ask, what's in it for me? You really, truly embody this concept of looking outward and knowing that it's going to come back to you tenfold. And I think it's already doing so. So anyone who's listening, those are the two main reasons Martin is here, and you're going to understand more why I say that as we get into this conversation.
Well, thank you, Patrick. That law of reciprocity kicks in. I mean, I've trying to make some introductions, but you've made some incredible introductions to me. Just talking this past week, I was talking to one of your associates in Maine, Portland, Maine.
Oh yeah,
and, very talented lady at Regal. She's incredible, and thanks for the introduction. And she's wants to get things rolling in Maine, and she's got a lot of connections herself. So thank you for that.
Yeah, she does. She's a fireball.
That's for sure.
So let's, if you don't mind, let's jump into a little bit of your backstory. I mean, it's a very interesting story because you're now the president of the ACA Business Club, and what you're doing. We'll get into what that is and how it works, but you started as a professional tennis player. Isn't that correct? You come
Yeah,
from
I'm
that
washed up
background.
tennis pro these days. Yeah, that was always my dream. I wanted to play pro tennis, and so a big part of my life growing up was playing tennis and training, and which actually it really established a lot of the kind of good work ethic. And there's so many analogies between athletics and sports and the business world. In fact, I thought about writing
Right.
a book about that alone. I mean, just so many analogies, and keeping your eye on the ball and dedication and perseverance and all these. So that's really helped me, I think, a lot in my career in the business world. Taking that same approach. I love winning. I hate losing, but losing is part of life. You got to learn how you lose and then make those.
Right.
The sports world, if you're batting 300, 400, you're still, not getting on base quite a few times.
Right.
Babe Ruth struck out more times than most people, and also got the most home runs. So this losing's a part of it, but it's how you respond to that and you come back from that. So you've grown up, sports was a big part of my life, and I had the opportunity to play professional tennis. Never made it to the big time. I had friends that stayed out on the tour, and you just keep making enough money to get to the next tournament. And so it's challenging, but it was a great experience for me, and opportunity to play in college as well. And so I learned a lot, made a lot of great connections. In fact, that's kind of how my career got going, was just made a lot of connections with tennis and country clubs in the United States, and built a lot of relationships throughout the private club community through my tennis.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have a good friend who's a national pickleball champion, and his name's Brian Pointer. He's one of my partners. And pickleball is a big deal these days, obviously.
It's the fastest growing sport in the world. I mean, it's overtaken tennis. They're converting tennis courts into pickleball courts.
Right.
It's a lot of fun.
I think it's probably because it's not quite as doesn't require quite the athleticism. You can be older, you can be maybe a little bit less athletic and still be a good pickleball player.
Well, it's very conducive to building relationships. And so there's, in fact, we started a pickleball chapter out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. And so it's based around using pickleball as a platform to build business relationships.
Right.
People come out and, like you said, anybody can play. And it's just, so we're going to be rolling that chapters of pickleball, ASA Pickleball Club around the country as we speak.
That's awesome.
So it's a lot of fun. But
I want to get into the interest groups that you have. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
It's really an interesting aspect of ACA. Now, just so for anyone who's listening who is not familiar with the ACA business clubs, we'll jump into what it is and how it works. But essentially, you are a how do you describe yourself? You're a private club. You're dedicated to professionals, to executives, business owners. And I know that because every time I talk to you, you're so passionate about helping your members succeed. Right. And that's really at the heart. And you've been doing this for a long time, because not only long before ACA came along, didn't you start a sports marketing company?
Yeah.
Something like that, right? Tell us a little bit about that story.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, I hurt my elbow playing tennis, and God had other plans for me. And looking back, this was a good thing. And so it was devastating at the time. But I got into sports marketing. My doubles partner and we started the EMI sports marketing, started the Pepsi tennis academies. Mm-hmm. And it was the largest tennis academies in the Midwest at the time. I had over 800 students, and we got, of course, Pepsi's a sponsor of our academies, and Wilson Sporting Goods and Pizza Hut. And one summer I pretty much ate pizza the whole summer and Pepsi. But so we got into sponsorships that way. And it was a funny story. It was actually back in the playing tennis, I had long hair, bleached blonde hair, by the way. And I guess
I have a hard time picturing that, Martin.
But,
Andre Agassi.
Back in the Andre Agassi days, Michael Chang, back in those days too. So there was we were going after sponsorships, and so I walked in with my tennis stuff on and long hair, and asked for so many thousands of dollars sponsorship, and free pizza for a year and whatever, sponsorship package with Pizza Hut. And they're like, thanks, we'll call you back. And just never heard back. So cut my hair, bought a suit, and went back and landed the sponsorship. And that's really when I got into sports marketing. It was just a great experience. Made a lot of mistakes, but learned from it. That's back in the days when they were just passing out money. But really started making more money from the sponsorships in our academies than we did the academies themselves. Companies want to reach students and kids and adults.
Right.
So that was a great experience. Sold that company, and my partner started traveling around the world doing import export. Eli Mull, he's out of Colorado Springs, and I partnered with John Newcomb. John was a former number one tennis player in the world. Won Wimbledon, U.S. Open back in the '70s. Big mustache, great guy. Loves to have a good time, and he has a tennis ranch, John Newcomb Tennis Ranch, down in New Braunfels, Texas. And so we started the Corporate Tennis Cup, and it's really got into the sports marketing. And this we company sponsored teams of the tennis and country clubs around the U.S. and the top company teams went to the national championships at John Newcomb Tennis Ranch every year. So we worked out about half the Fortune 500 companies were involved with that. And again, back in those days, it was like early '90s. They passed out money. Actually, today you have to deliver on these sponsorships, But back then, the people writing the checks were also members of country clubs, so it was well put together there. But I worked built a lot of relationships with tennis directors and more tennis and country clubs, and solidified those relationships too. And so that was a great experience in my career. And then went on to work with Tennis Corporation of America, about 35 clubs around the country, and starting a family, trying to settle down a little more, and got a position of marketing director for TCA, and still play tennis, did some teaching tennis some too. But and that's how really I got involved with the American Club Association. Maybe we could share a quick history of that. I guess kind of ties into my background.
I'd like to get into that. Before we go there, I know you won a pretty prestigious award. Top 10 collegiate entrepreneurs in North America.
Is
that what it was?
Oh, yeah. For our Association of Collegiate Entrepreneurs. Yeah, that was a big deal. ACE out of New York. At the time, it was a big deal. I kind of had that crossroads where we had a lot of people wanted to hire me I was still actually in school, but I took the different route, with the entrepreneurial route. But it was good for the resume. But it was a great time. In fact, we'll have to share about that more later. But we're looking at starting with the University of Arkansas today, but starting on student chapters on campus for the ACE Business Club, creating mentoring programs for students. So it's I come back from my days back in working with ACE. But yeah, also we our claim to fame back then. We a little known fun fact: we put a Pepsi logo on a tennis ball, and we had U.S. Open box seats. The U.S. Open each year with corporate box seats with Pepsi, and we met the guys in marketing, showed them our stuff. Putting a logo on top of a tennis ball, and 18 months later, it's adopted this new worldwide logo for Pepsi.
Wow! Had
some speed stripes behind it, so it was a little known fun fact. I just got 1 penny for every Pepsi because they owned it, But, since then, they turned the logo. If you see over the years, they've turned the logo to the side a little bit and it's continued to evolve. But that was fun.
Your claim to fame, huh? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, isn't it interesting how our careers, they evolve and they take on a life of their own, and we end up places we really didn't ever imagine going, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
You're talking about launching. In fact, you're sitting at University of Arkansas right now, aren't you?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and you're you're launching this new college internship. Is it an internship or is it a?
It's actually
how do you define it?
It'd be a chapter on campus. One of the clubs within the university that would be for students. So it'd be a student membership, and we would set up and it's just in the planning phases right now. In fact, University of Missouri is working on, the students there are working on a program there as we speak, putting that together. This will be rolled out at universities all around the country.
Nice.
University of Arkansas, my son's looking at going to University of Arkansas, and he wants to help spearhead this program. But it really sets up, it's an opportunity for mentoring for students on campus that connects them with the business world. So we have a lot of companies and our members that have not done mentoring before, but we want to create a program to connect them with the students and the different fields that they're looking at. It's not just for business students, but for all type of students and the industries they're looking to get into, and create some mentoring and also job opportunities and internships. A lot of our members, our companies in the network, never offered internships before. A lot of have as well, but we help them create, how do you create an internship and then connect them with students. So as professional business matchmakers for students. So we're really excited about this. Just something a lot of members want to get back, and just a great opportunity to create that bridge between the universities and the business community.
Well, that's a great way to not only expand your reach as an organization and introduce it to more kind of the up and coming generation, but what a great way to give back and groom these future entrepreneurs, right? Future business leaders and business owners, and I mean that's fantastic. In our company, we're kind of doing the same thing, in the sense that we came up with this idea that we could use what we're good at to help college students graduate debt-free, because how much more effective can they be if they're coming out of school without this huge student debt hanging over their heads? No debt, money in the bank to start their own business or transition to their
career. I love that.
Something we should
there's definitely some synergy here
about it.
I know you're interviewing me here, but I'd love to learn more about that, Patrick. That's Regal was telling me a little bit about that. That sounds like a ton of synergy with what we're doing, and that's the way it works. That's the power of working together.
Exactly.
Know each other and exploring ways to help each other, and that's what it's all about.
We're very excited about it. We've been referring to it as the Certainty Fellowship. It's again just in the kind of origination phase or brainstorming phase, but it's definitely something we can do with our expertise as cost reduction and tax recovery and the employer pension credit and all these things. We can absolutely do it. We were invited to come back and speak at Liberty University about a month ago at a big CEO summit there, and did several breakout sessions. We were visiting with these college students and talking about what we do, and this idea came to me. I mean, I think sometimes things are just given to us, right? Started talking to them. What would it be like if you could graduate debt free? And their eyes bugged up. They perked right up, and they said, "How do we do that?" I'll tell all my friends. We wanted to develop it into a mentorship program where they can. Well, it's almost like an internship in the sense that, but it's more like a paid internship, because we can help them raise funds using what we do, and in the process teach them. So I think there could be some really good synergies there between us and you guys to blend the two together. But
so we're going to set you up with an interview with our one of our Club Life Coffees, the talk show we do, and we'll invite everybody back to that and interview and tell us all about what your more details. I have a lot more questions for you. Look forward to exploring that further. Yeah.
Well, we're coming up on our first break here, but I want to get into what ACA is exactly. I know that it's got a storied history with presidents like Harry Truman and Dwight D. Eisenhower and so forth that were originally part of American Club Association, and how that has evolved into what ACA Business Club is today. It's a really interesting story. So we're gonna go to break, everybody, real quick. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're visiting with Martin Hess, the president of ACA Business Club, getting to know him a little bit better. We go way back. We've known each other for some time now, but it's fun. Yeah. I always enjoy these interviews because I learn new things and we exchange ideas. But we're going to come back. We're going to talk about how American Club Association started in 1882 and how it has evolved to the ACA Business Club of today, which is it's a really neat story. So thanks again for being here, Martin. We will be back. We will be right back, everybody. Look forward to speaking to you in just another minute.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
Certainty Management can help create more certainty in your life with our deep discount health insurance options, even for 1099s, part-time employees, volunteers, and more. Pay less to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your team. Call 888-684-3122 for a free quote today. That's 888-684-3122. Visit us on the web at certaintyteam.com. That's certainty, T-E-A-M, like Mary.com.
If you're a nonprofit in need of funding, we can help. Certainty Management is a cost reduction firm that also helps churches, schools, sports teams, and other nonprofits raise unlimited zero-cost funding. Best of all, you don't have to sell anything or ask for donations. Call 888-684-3122 to learn more today. That's 888-684-3122. Visit us on the web at certaintyteam.com. That's certainty, T-E-A-M, like Mary.com.
Voice America Business Network, the bottom line in business.
You are listening to Finding Certainty with Patrick Laing. Have a question for Patrick or his guests? Join us on the show at 866-472-5790. That's 866-472-5790. Now, back to the show with Patrick.
And we're back. We're visiting with my good friend Martin Hess, president of the ACA Business Club. Martin, thanks again for being here.
Glad to be back.
We're enjoying the conversation. So we were just getting into a little bit of the history. We talked a little bit about Martin's background. Now we're getting into the history of the ACA. Mm-hmm. Started in 1882 originally. I mean, the American Club Association, which evolved into what you do today. Can you tell us a little bit about the history and how it transitioned into the ACA Business Club?
Sure. It's definitely been an evolution here over the years. By the way, I wasn't around back in 1882. I mean, it's starting a little gray area, but
that's good.
But so the American Club Association, which actually didn't start at the same time Kansas City Club started, but we've been an association of golf, tennis, city, and country clubs around the U.S. And around the world over the years. And our headquarters was at the Kansas City Club, which did start back in 1882. Over the years, Dwight Eisenhower has been a member of the club, Harry Truman, General Omar Bradley. And it had quite a history. And it was an amazing history. And but after 130 years, the Kansas Club shut down. And the board, in order to keep that tradition alive, launched this business club concept to be a 21st century version of the Kansas City Club. More in the suburbs. Kansas City Club was downtown. We built out, I didn't personally do this, Stephen Joyce on our board, my mentor, the general manager of the Kansas City Club, built out reciprocal membership privileges with clubs all around the United States and around the world. So if you remember the Kansas City Club, you could go to the New York Athletic Club, the Metropolitan Club, petroleum clubs in Texas, all around, and had reciprocal membership privileges. And we really want to take that to another level. And so, like when I traveled around, I could stay at the clubs and eat there, but there really wasn't the relationships as much between the clubs. So we want to take that to another level. And so when I went to another club, we'd have built-in relationships, even directories and all that, because usually they're all isolated between each individual clubs. And so, and we also, with my background in sponsorships, I wanted to create sponsorship packages for the entire network of clubs, which is the leading demographic in the world, private club members, most affluent demographic. And so there's companies that definitely want to reach that demographic. And so, but there were also some challenges with some board member or some club that just, we hadn't done that for the last 100 years. Why start now? So we're trying to take another level. It was a little challenging. So this opportunity came along to the Kansas City Club shut down to start our own business club. And the reason it was a business club is because we did a lot of client entertainment events over the years. And if you're in have clients, then typically you're in business. I hope there's not background noise. Can you hear me okay?
No, you're okay.
All
I know he's literally sitting in the hallway.
I'm at the university right now.
In the back corner of the university. It's like, I can do the show, but I got to fit it in.
Right. So thanks. Bear with me here. Okay. But if you have clients, you're typically in business. So it was just natural to start a business club that focuses on serving executives, professionals, and business owners. This was kind of natural. And so that was who we've been catering to over the years. And so that's what approach we took. We're the only private club in the country that focuses exclusively on business. There's some awesome city clubs that do a lot of business activities and so forth, but they're only club that focuses on business. So we started a club to continue the tradition of the Kansas City Club. So it is a private club. People join as individuals. You've got to be sponsored in my current member, willing to put their reputation on the line, or a vouch for your character,
right?
Interviewed and approved by the board. So as a result, we actually endorse all the members and put a reputation behind every member, which few organizations do because of liability. They won't in fine print, but we actually endorse all of our members. So if you're a member of the club, it really means something. It's like the best business bureau, I like to say. Actually, the better business bureau is still the best because they are members of the club too, executives. But you can really feel confident in recommending, referring, introducing, and being a resource for everyone in your network because you can go to the fellow members and recommend them as resources.
Right.
So that was the foundation. And so that really summed the whole thing up really is our whole vision for the business club to help our members accomplish their vision. And so we love digging in deeper and find out what their goals and objectives are, what they're trying to accomplish, where have they been, what are they doing now, where are they heading with things? Paint a picture for us, what it looks like this year, the next 2 years, next 5 years from now. Then we create a custom game plan to help them get there. And we do that in a number of ways. We have business development teams. These are small groups of members that come together on a weekly basis, 5 to 15 folks that are not non-competing with each other. So they function as an advisory board for each other. They build the relationships and business flows out of that. A lot of referrals flow. But then it's a lot of marketing things we do with the teams. And they work together. Like you said in the very beginning, our focus on working together in the marketing. So these teams, they'll go out. We call it event crashing. We have a whole playbook that we help each member create. A lot of sports analogies you'll find because of our roots in the ACA. But we have a playbook that we'll create. We take them through training camp, and we go through it's a 4-week session. It's all included for members that want it. 4-week session. We're in the locker room strategizing, and we go through their life and business vision. And if you don't start with your life vision, your business becomes your life. I've had it backwards half my life. That's why I get this stuff here. But think about where you're heading first, and in your life, and then we'll talk to your business vision. And one of the goals you've got to hit to accomplish your vision. And we like to say the analogy of if you're climbing Mount Everest, what approach we take. Sitting at the top of Mount Everest, that's your vision. You want to look around the world, but then your goals are specific time-sensitive goals you put in place. Like if I'm going to climb to Mount Everest, I've got to start training first of all, start a plan in place and set some time frame around that. And then I've got to get over to Nepal and get to base camp in a certain time frame. Then you have the different stages to get up the mountain, different camps you got to get up. So those are the goals along the way. Eventually reach your vision at the top of Mount Everest. And so we take that same approach too. And then so once you tackle your goals, specific activity goals, then what are the marketing strategies you're going to embrace, working with your fellow team members, these business development teams, to fill your pipeline so you can accomplish your goals, accomplish your vision. It's a very strategic, intentional approach to getting to where you want to go. And so some of these marketing strategies, we call it, one is event crashing. The only reason we're experts at all this stuff, Patrick, we just made more mistakes than everyone else and we learn from it. What works goes in the playbook. What doesn't work, we throw out. But you never stop learning. We learn from our members every day. We learn something. I learn all the time. And that's why I love what we do, just learning and creating success stories with people. But one of these strategies is called event crashing. So we train them how to go to an event, say like go to a chamber event or our own events. But the reason you go to the event is not to talk about yourself as much. Get to know the people in the room and make introductions for your fellow team members. And that's far more powerful. I can praise you a lot better than you can by yourself and vice versa, and work in the room for each other.
Right.
And it's a far more effective way. And this networking stuff, we're not a networking organization. We do a lot of networking events, but we train people in these marketing strategies to, like getting back to the event crashing. When you're networking, you can waste a lot of time networking. And the key at the end of the day, are you getting in front of the right people? So if I'm in a group of people working in the room for each other, I'm going to introduce people to you that you need to get to know. I'm going to filter the room for you, filter the room for me. And that's a lot more effective way to network. We do a lot of social media cross marketing where, there's thousands of contacts, just you alone, just get to know Patrick who knows everybody else, but your network becomes my network. And we do the social media cross marketing. I promote you in my network of contacts, me and your network of contacts, and your network equals your net worth, and so we have a team of 10 people. And the premise of this is, it's been said to you about 10,000 in your sphere of influence, minimum 10,000 to be successful in your own industry.
Mm-hmm.
So the close way to get there is working with others. So if you got 1,000 in your network, 1,000 in my network, we have 10 of us and each have 1,000, each of our networks. We work really close together intentionally. I just increased my network from 1,000 to over 10,000 pretty quickly.
Right.
And that's the power of working together on this sort of thing. So we, the marketing's a big part of this. Teams also, professional development's a pillar of the club. And I'm sure you're familiar with Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N, Jim Rohn. I'm sure a lot of listeners are as well. Mm-hmm. But Jim's been weaved into the fabric of the American Club Association over the years. And the reason professional development's a pillar of the club is because of Jim. And he talks about this a lot. I mean, you work harder on yourself than on your work harder on your job than on your business. And we've seen over the years that, people expect their business to be a 9 or 10. Their level of professional development is like a 5 or 6. That great gap in there is called frustration for people. And so people, what they tend to do is they work on themselves. They just change their industry. They change their job. They just change there. But if they work on themselves, no matter what they do, to be successful. And we all know people on the flip side that they don't work on themselves, and no matter what they do, they're just not going to cut it, not going to make it. And so that's where this professional development comes in. And so we someone once asked Jim once, Jim, how do you become make an above average salary? And his answer to that was become an above average person, develop an above average smile, develop an above average interest in others, develop above average enthusiasm.
Right.
It just makes all the difference in the world. Is become the person that you want to, that it attracts people to you. And, just enthusiasm alone, this is direct from Jim. He 90% that is enthusiasm on the inside. 10% on the outside. Doesn't mean you're going around giving high fives to everybody all the time, but that inner passion, that enthusiasm just attracts people like a magnet to you.
Right.
And that's what's so important about professional development. You always should be growing and you're either growing or dying, in my opinion. So, and then of course, relationships is the other pillar of the club, building relationships and business flows out of that. So that's kind of the premise of the club. Yeah.
That was one of the first things that jumped out at me when we first met. We were introduced by a mutual colleague, Liz Deal.
Yeah.
The amazing Liz Deal.
Liz is awesome. Out of our club in Phoenix.
Yep. She introduced us, and I saw that immediately when we started talking, not only how passionate you were about what you guys were doing, but like I said, that you really practice what you preach. I mean, I think in that first conversation, you introduced me to a colleague in Hawaii, and then you later introduced me to Jason Miller, who is one of the members of Strategic Advisor Board. I mean,
Jason's rock star.
That one relationship has evolved where I was on his top 1% global podcasts, and he was on my show here, and he recently invited me to be a part of a YouTube live channel that they've created where we post a new video every day, 5 days a week. I had to commit to do it for the next year. And, it's just, you see these ripple effects coming out of these introductions. I love the event crashing concept. I love that, as I was saying before, the whole concept of putting it out there and paying it forward and focusing on others.
Yeah.
It's really refreshing because, you think when you go network, you're there to introduce yourself and get people to know you. But if you take that approach instead of introducing your friends, of getting to know others, of asking more questions, it changes the whole feel of that event, not to mention the outcome, right? I attribute that lesson to you, Martin, because it changed my paradigm about networking, and I've really enjoyed it ever since.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And that's quite a compliment coming from you there. But, honestly, everything we have, just learning from our members.
Mhm.
I was, we like the training camp, the playbook. Every time I go through it, I learned something. I learned a lot actually. And so, we're talking about in the locker room strategizing. The next phase there is next session, leaving the locker room. We're hitting the field. It's game time. People map out an entire strategy on paper, their client engagement process, and finally post-game analysis, analyzing your CRM system, your database, to know whether you're winning or losing. Most
Right.
people just don't know their numbers, their stats. And so every time we go through that, we just keep learning from people, and it's a lifelong process. I mean, like the pandemic, we learned tons through that with this whole online kind of virtual business club out of that. And so, it's just a lifelong process of learning. The other thing I want to add to that is you mentioned Jason Miller. Jason's an amazing guy, head of the strategic advisor board, and Michael Sipe and the whole group of folks that are part of that group. In fact, Jason set up the interview with us with Forbes magazine, contacts there, and it's a great connection. They came out to actually our grand opening in Colorado Springs to cover that event.
Right.
But one thing we covered at that with Jason is we're launching an executive club, which is for senior level executives and business owners with employees that face a whole new set of challenges. And it's helped me a lot personally, just connect with these folks that, like we're expanding pretty quickly here, and I'm sure more about that in a minute, but there's a lot of challenges that come along with that, and challenges that, it's so helpful to be able to learn from someone else's mistakes. It's a lot easier to learn from someone else's mistakes than make my own, and learn from each other's mistakes. And so and move forward together. And that's, again, that power working together. So, but yeah, Jason's been a great inspiration, and a lot of people, a ton of clients and contacts, just help impacting people's lives. And that's what we're all about. And if you help other people move forward, that'll help you move forward.
Well, as you look at those three pillars, you talk about relationships, professional development, and marketing. Those are really the three corners of a successful business. I have a good friend named Michael Peluso, who's one of the owners of Three Summers Creative. Yeah. They're an ad firm in New Jersey. I should introduce you to them. They'd be a great partner with you. But he talks a lot about relationship-driven growth and how important that is. And that is really the foundation of what ACA stands for. And there's multiple benefits that come out of being involved with ACA. You talk about these other clubs around the world. I mean, there's 60 or so. I think I counted 62 international clubs in Australia and Japan and China and Singapore and South Africa and so forth that you can actually have access to as a member of ACA. You have access to these other American Club Association and these international private clubs. You have the benefits of the personal development, of the networking that goes on. It was interesting to me when I first met you that you said we're not a networking club or a networking organization per se, but a lot of networking takes place. So I want to get into that. We're coming up on our next break, but let's talk a little bit more about why you say that and why that is, because I've experienced extraordinary networking, benefits from interacting with you all, engaging with ACA, but you don't define yourself as a networking club. So it's different than a BNI or a...
It's a great organization, by the way. There's awesome organizations out there.
Right.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, how we work with other organizations, and chambers are great partners with us too.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. So let's go to break again. We'll be right back, folks. We're visiting with Martin Hess, the president of the ACA Business Club, and looking forward to continuing the conversation. We'll be right back, folks.
Thanks.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
If you're a nonprofit in need of funding, we can help. Certainty Management is a cost reduction firm that also helps churches, schools, sports teams, and other nonprofits raise unlimited zero-cost funding. Best of all, you don't have to sell anything or ask for donations. Call 888-684-3122 to learn more today. That's 888-684-3122. Visit us on the web at CertaintyTeam.com. That's Certainty, TEAM, like Mary.com.
Certainty Management can help create more certainty in your life with our deep discount health insurance options, even for 1099s, part-time employees, volunteers, and more. Pay less to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your team. Call 888-684-3122 for a free quote today. That's 888-684-3122. Visit us on the web at CertaintyTeam.com. That's Certainty, T-E-A-M, like Mary.com.
When it comes to business, you'll find the experts here. Voice America Business Network.
You are listening to Finding Certainty with Patrick Laing. Have a question for Patrick or his guests? Join us on the show at 866-472-5790. That's 866-472-5790. Now, back to the show with Patrick.
Welcome back, everyone. We're visiting with Martin Hess, president of ACA Business Club. He's sitting in the hallway at the University of Arkansas.
You Razorback fans on the call?
That's right. He fit us in during a road trip to explore University of Arkansas with his son. And you were talking about a new college program where ACA is going to help college kids learn these skills as well. I think that's fantastic. Very exciting.
Partner with Certainty Management. Just partner with you guys to do it. That sounds
absolutely. I think we could have some synergy there, but
absolutely.
So we've been talking though about ACA and how they really had their roots in the American Club Association, this association of private tennis and golf clubs and so forth, and how that has evolved into the 21st century. Today, it's a private club still. You have to be invited by a member, approved by the board, et cetera, because you do endorse your members. That's really important.
Yep.
But you continue to take it to the next level, right? Kind of modernize it, I guess. You have technology that's they didn't have 100 years ago. We have, but talk more a little bit about it. Talk about the coffee club and the structure. I know you actually have physical locations. That's the goal in most places. So do you mind going into that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were talking about the Kansas City Club, and that shut down. The board launched this business club concept to be a 21st century version of the Kansas City Club. In the suburbs, we're invited to be downtown locations. Parking's a challenge there because we have a lot of big events we do. But it looks like a cafe or coffee shop in the suburbs. So you could tell your associates or colleagues, let's meet potential clients. Let's meet at the club for coffee. And so it's when you walk in, it feels like a coffee shop. Is the goal for it, except it's private club for members only and their guests.
Right.
And so you can bring guests to the club anytime you like, as long as they're accompanied by a member. You get free coffee that covers membership right there. We're the most affordable club in the country too, because it'll be more Main Street instead of Wall Street Club. But it's a place you can. It's really, we lead with relationships, and the space is just a value-added benefit. And like co-working spaces, with some awesome co-working spaces out there, they lead with the space, and relationships is a value-added benefit. So that's the distinction between what we do and co-working spaces. And we are a private club, so people join as individuals. Make some distinctions here. We will partner well with Chambers of Commerce. In fact, when we go into a new market, we like to meet with the leadership of the chamber early on, because we really complement the chamber. We encourage our members to join the chamber. We join the chamber, but the companies join the chamber. And companies, they're there for the economic development of the community. And then individuals join a business club.
Right.
So you can, when you join as an individual, you can be even transition and join the club. So you don't even have to represent a company. And then once that's part of their game plan is, what do you want to represent? Where you're heading? And we create a game plan to help you get there.
Yeah, I noticed, I was looking through your list of interest groups, because that's one of the unique things about ACA is you have all these groups that are, just looking through the list, there were ACA Cares. I'm going to just read it real quick here. American Warriors, B2B Club, Business Academy, Business Fellowship, Career Resources, the Coaches Collaborative. That sounds interesting. Entrepreneurs Club, Event and Travel Club, Executive Club, Golf Club, Health and Wellness Club, Home Resource Network, International Club, manufacturing and distribution, marketing club, pickleball club. We talked about that. Professionals club, senior life, sip and savor. That's probably a wine club.
Food and wine. Yeah.
Yeah, food and wine. Speakers Academy, technology exchange community, visionaries, women's connection, and writers club. And so you talk about transition, even somebody who's between careers or looking to switch careers. They don't have to be a business owner or an entrepreneur. They can join the ACA Business Club. But there's so many different interest groups and focuses that there's a niche for everyone. I mean, if you're passionate about being a coach or a speaker, or you work in manufacturing, you guys have really developed these niche clubs where people can associate with not just a general group, but with those that are in their own lane. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. As part of the membership, it's all included, by the way. Some of the value-added membership in the country. I'm a little biased here, but you can join over 20 different organizations, all including your membership. And the distinction between a business development team, which is our industry exclusive type of group, small, being one team, you can join over 20 different organizations. And these are, we call them interest groups, ACA interest groups. These are members that share a common affiliation or interest demographic. And so you can't do it all. That's why we create a custom game plan for people. So in your case, St. Patrick, you enjoy connecting with businesses and real profitably you connect with other companies, with the B2B club based out of Chicago. At a Schaumburg there, that the best investment of your time if you serve businesses with other people that serve businesses, particularly business you want to get into and people in their sphere of influence that you want to reach. And so being real intentional about it, the organization under the umbrella, this is modeled after, by the way, after private clubs. I mean, they have clubs within the club over the years, special interest groups within the club. So same concept. But we connect with other people that are serving businesses, and it's its own community under the umbrella. If you don't get invited to Women's Connection, but it's a great organization for women. Women get together and share the challenges, and they face a lot of challenges, of course, juggling a lot of things, and so they lift each other, encourage each other, and the encouragement is a big part of the club. I mean, some days you get out of bed and you don't feel like you don't even feel like getting out of bed, and so you show up at the club, and the best way to start feeling positive, go encourage somebody and make them feel positive. Some days I need to borrow some of your courage. Some days you need to borrow some of my courage, but together we lift each other up and encourage, fill each other with courage, and that's the power working together. Exactly. That's what the club's all about. That's what the club's all about. So these interest groups are really just opportunities to do that, more of that. Like pickleball. You connect with other people, build relationships around pickleball. Invite clients, throw pickleball events, invite prospective clients, and just build those relationships.
Right.
So you're not leading with your business; you're leading with, hey, I'm going to help serve you. And big thing we do is adding value to others. Invite somebody to a pickleball event and just offer to make introductions for people.
Right.
It's fair marketing. Yeah.
I tell my sales team, and we have associates, across the U.S. and Canada, and I tell them all the time to pick a lane. Find an area that you're passionate about. Maybe, we do several things. They're all focused on putting money back in our clients' pockets. We're a profitability firm. We refer to it as Certainty Smart Profits.
Love it.
And we use what we're good at to help nonprofits. Well, I tell my team all the time, what are you passionate about? Go after that. If you care about helping kids, focus on that. If you care about the environment, if you care about conservative politics or whatever it is. I've got one guy, he wants to raise money and help anything to do with conservative politics, the NRA, the Judicial Watch. That's his passion. I said, go for it. Another person wants to help the Democratic Convention. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference to us. We don't dictate to our team where they have to focus. And I love that about ACA because everyone has their own passions. They all have their own interests. You have your 5 C's, the kind of the distinctives. I know that the culture, it's so welcoming and encouraging. The cost, the fact that your private club is significantly less expensive than others. I like that you focus on career. Help people transition and build their business or transition to a new career. Your connections that just evolve out of these, and then the fact that you actually do have a coffee club. It's like a cafe. That's the ultimate goal. I know in many places you start with a rookie club, as you call it. It's a virtual club, and then as that grows, the goal is to have a physical location. These are unique things in a networking group. personal, development
private club.
in a private club. So real quick, we're coming up on the end of the show here, but can you talk a little bit about the process? How does someone become a member of ACA? I know there's some rules, no soliciting, and guests can come 2 meetings per year. Got to be positive. Those are really important. What are the steps to becoming a member before you run out of time?
Well, it's really just you get invited to an event by a current member, and get introduced to folks, get a chance to check the club out, and if they want to interview, then we can set up an interview. And it's a real simple process. It is a process though, and it's something we don't take lightly. But it is all invitation. We don't advertise, just pure invitation only. And so that's if somebody has the right ACA DNA, we call it. Do they want to help others and build relationships, and if that's what they're interested in, it's really about their character and their vouch for their character.
Right.
It's really that simple. And we've got an amazing leadership team. You mentioned Ann D'Angelo she's the head of operations for the ACA, heads up a club manager and club in Kansas City, starting the Triumph of the Family. She didn't mention that. You mentioned kids helping families, and it's way beyond just business at the club. And so it's. We hear, the thing I want to add too is we need to interview you sometime, Patrick, on our Club Life Coffee. Brian Harrison works for me on a national level and early investor in the ACA and business clubs, has his own talk show, and you'll be an awesome interview. And Certainty Management's a fantastic organization. I'm sure a lot of viewers are already familiar with it too, but it's a great resource for companies and individuals as well. But thanks for what you're doing with Certainty Management.
Well, I appreciate that. I've talked about this before, but when I was first interviewed on Voice America by Frank Hellring, headliner host of Business Buzz, he's the one who recommended that I meet with the general manager and talk about starting our own show. And it was ultimately about the fact that business owners, both for-profit, nonprofit, they're seeking more certainty. Right? They're looking for options, looking for solutions. And that's what I love about ACA is you are giving them not just a venue to meet, but you are giving them specific solutions. I mean, a business plan and the coaching and the mentoring and the interest groups. And you just bring so much value. I mean, membership has its benefits, as they say, right? I saw a quote on your website that said membership in a private business club lies not in the prestige of the group, but in the depth of the relationships developed. And you embody that, Martin. Your organization embodies that. And I think that's why you're doing so well, why you're growing so quickly. So
thank you. It's just a journey.
Yeah,
that's a journey.
Anything in closing you want to share? Please share how people can get a hold of you, how they can learn more about ACA, and then if you have any last thoughts you'd like to share, we've got about a minute or two left here, and we'll be out of time.
Absolutely. So we have you can go to the website and learn more about it, acanetwork.org, acanetwork.org, and there's a support field section there, and I just encourage they could go in there and just request some more information. We'd love to invite them to an event and just check it out. We have I mentioned Brian Harrison, which we're going to be interviewed soon for sure with you, Patrick, here, but we can get a slot for you. But and just come and check it out. Some breakout rooms and just get experience it a little bit. The culture, it's all online. Thanks to the pandemic, we started a lot of online events. We have a lot of virtual business clubs now too. They can check out, even if there's not a club in their own city. We've got relationships everywhere, but it'll be a good place to start and just meet some folks and maybe make some introductions for them.
Well, I can speak from experience that Martin is the president of the organization, but he's surrounded by a team that is the same caliber. They have the same heart, and they're very passionate about helping strengthen business in America and abroad. I assume eventually you'll go overseas as well.
I was talking to Jerusalem on Monday. So I got a group of executives want to start a club in Jerusalem, and there's 7 other countries around the world. And we're rolling this out. Our goal is 1,400 clubs across the U.S. and 2,500 clubs worldwide for the next 7 to 8 years here.
That's fantastic. Well, keep up the good work, my friend. And remember, guys, ACA.
And thanks for all you do.
acanetwork.org, and check them out. As Martin said, you're welcome to come as a guest and get a feel for it. I think you'll be impressed. So thanks for being on here, Martin. Always a pleasure. I'll obviously continue the conversation. Lots more to accomplish together.
Well, thank you, Patrick. It's a privilege talking to you today.
All right. Thanks for being with us today, everybody. Come back next week if you can. Every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific, as you know. This next week, we have a guest named Dr. Mary Lee from Detroit, Michigan. She's going to tell you, share with you an insight into nonprofit fundraising that kind of blew my mind when I saw it. It's really extraordinary. So come back next week. You're going to hear from me and Mary, and we'll have a great conversation. So thanks again, Martin. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode of Finding Certainty. We hope you've gained some more insight into how to create more certainty in your own business or nonprofit. Join us next week for another taste of the Certainty Experience. Until then, we wish you greater certainty in all that you do.